both the House and the Senate, envision cutting, or they fall short of meeting the current needs, current formulas for funding schools by about $9 billion. That affects charter schools just as it would affect traditional school districts. Charters by statute, receive the average in funding through the formulas that traditional school districts get. So clearly meeting budget challenges are going to be a real need for charter schools. It's particularly important because charter schools are already underfunded. Since their inception, charter schools have received less per student than traditional school districts. It's as much as $2,000 a student less now, and that disparity has been growing. Biggest part of that is the fact that charter schools don't receive any funds for facilities. Traditional school districts have a tax base. They levy INS taxes specifically for construction and debt payments for meeting facilities needs. Charter schools don't have that INS tax base. Also, for low wealth school districts, the state has a direct state assistance to meet the needs of facilities, and charter schools get no direct facilities needs. And sort of strike three, if you will, for charter schools is that the permanent school fund backs bond issuances for traditional school districts, and charter schools aren't eligible for that guarantee. So traditional school districts get higher bond rating, which translates into much lower cost of capital. So their interest payments over the life of the bonds are much lower than charter schools. Probably three key areas. One is that permanent school fund guarantee. We think legislation will be introduced that would extend that guarantee to charters who meet certain financial criteria, and we think that's critical. Another thing that is critical is the cap and the ability to continue to meet the demands of students. As of last year, the number of kids on waiting lists to get into charter schools was 40,000. We think that has grown significantly since then. And so the cap and the ability for charter schools to replicate and meet those needs, we think is critical. Senate Bill 127 by Senator Patrick would allow for the State Board of Education to introduce, to authorize 10 new charter schools a year. So we think that's critically important, that we have a vibrant market to meet the continued demand, the growing demand of parents and students. And then about 35% of our charter schools have a specific focus on meeting the needs of kids who have dropped out or are on the verge of dropping out. The way the accountability system works, specifically around graduation rates and dropout calculations, really acts as a disincentive for those schools. And these schools don't get credit for continuing the education of kids as they turn 18, 19, or 20 years old. And we think these schools should be rewarded in the accountability system if kids come to them and graduate, even though it's beyond when their peer group, their cohort group, graduated. So those are probably, along with minimizing the budget reductions, are the key legislative initiatives for TCSA. It's really a matter of looking for opportunities to create win-wins so that it's in the district's interest to enter into this partnership and in the charter school's interest. So typically, frequently, what the big thing that the districts have to offer is space, right? So especially for some of these urban school districts, as they're contracting population, they've got unutilized or underutilized space. So we really advise the charter schools to think creatively about what they can do to bring to the district to provide some concrete advantages to the school districts so that they'll offer this space at no or low lease arrangements.